Trump and Elon Musk are now like glued at the hip for some reason, probably because Elon Musk is like, I don't know, psychologically manipulating this man the same way he's psychologically manipulated a bunch of women into having children with him. Obama. I haven't seen JD Vance in a while. He's gone. I don't know. He's at the bottom of the ocean. So Trump and Elon gave an interview to Sean Hannity, who also I think is drunk. Like, no one's on their A game here. Trump the entire time is just like smiling. Elon's doing most of the talking, and Hannity's asking questions that don't make sense. Hannity's always drunk. It's so much Hannity is like so much worse than I've ever seen him. He can't even get a sentence together. Hammered Hannity. I mean, let's just get into it because you guys are gonna see. It's cut into 3 parts and is edited to shit. There's so much editing that they had to do to, I guess, to make it coherent. I don't know.
I've got to start with this. So
you hear that? I gotta start with this. You good? Did you drive here?
So he's working for free with Doge. He's kind of put a lot of his life on hold, and
I guess they just started in the middle of the interview. He doesn't look good. He's really not able to like hold himself together this entire interview. And I just took a hit of my bong. Like, I smoke weed and I can talk politics because it's not that hard. You're also on TV, like, and you have to do propaganda. I don't know. Maybe it's just a lot to ask of old Sean these days. He's getting up there. He's getting old.
You sued Twitter a number of years ago. You just made him pay you $10 million?
That's right. That's right.
That's right. That's
Well,
right.
I sued from long before he had it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really did a number on me, you know, and I sued and they had to pay, they paid $10 million.
What? You sued Twitter before Elon took over? Elon took over and then he paid you. That seems normal.
$1 million settlement.
You're okay with that?
I mean, I left it up to the lawyers and you know, the team running Twitter. So I said, you guys do what you think is the right, it makes sense.
Oh. He just called it Twitter.
I think it's funny.
I think it's a very low. I was looking to get much more money than that.
So you gave him a discount when the lawsuit.
He got a he got a big discount. I don't think he even knows about it.
He's become one of your.
What? This sucks. Why is this how the interview starts, by the way? They all sound drunk. There's a gas leak in the White House.
If you read,
you can see it bothered Elon. It started tweaking. Yeah, he started acting a little weird, but he's also weird the entire time. So maybe he was, I don't know. The most I can think of is he's saying Twitter because it has to do with, like, Twitter was sued before it was even called X. But even still, it's just so dumb.
Believe the media. He's become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
Well, I love the president. I just want to be clear about that.
I don't care about that.
I know. I love the president.
Wait, did he say he doesn't care about that? The vibes are fucked in this interview, by the way. They're just fucked.
One of your, if you read and believe the media, he's become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
Well, I love the president. I just want to be clear about that.
I don't care about that.
I know. I love the president.
You love the president.
I think.
Huh? You love the president. I love the president. I just want to be clear about that. You clear about that? You love the president. You can do anything, chat. You can do anything. These goddamn buffoons are basically the top of, like, American media. Like, they have more eyes on them than I probably ever will at one given point in my life. And that this is how they handle it. You can do anything. Nothing matters. There's no objective value to anything you make. Meritocracy is a lot.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's, you know.
That's the way he said that, you know?
That's so nice of him to say that. He never used to think this, by the way. He used to be a mega lib under Obama, and then he was a fucking Ron DeSantis supporter. Ron DeSanctimonious. That's who he wanted to be president, like, really bad.
There's something nice about it.
It really is. You know, because, I mean, the president's been so unfairly attacked in the media. It's really outrageous.
By who? By what?
At this point, spent a lot of time with the president, and not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel or wrong.
Oh yeah, he's high as fucking giraffe pussy. Look at him, dude. He's got to be on some shit. Just look at his eyes. They're fucking glazed over. It looks like his eyes have just been watering nonstop.
You know, I've known him for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anybody take as much as he's taken.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone take as much as he's taken. That's my president, brother. He knows how to take it.
And we've discussed this, and I'm like, how do you deal with it?
Did I have a choice?
Well, you would say that to me.
No
I'm like,
choice.
what am I
That's the
going
only
to do?
thing I can
Worry
say.
about?
Trump is such a he's such a drama queen. He loves the attention. Just look at this man. He's like bashful, like, so everyone hates me in the media and I have to take it. I'm like an angel. I have to be nice. Even though everyone hate me. He loves the glaze. He loves it. He's blushing. I have to take it. Everyone's so mean to me and I take it. All I do is take.
Worry about it, and and then culminating in 2 assassination attempts, which resulted in your endorsement.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
be rude.
The media did that. God, this interview is so atrocious, dude. It's so bad.
Well, I was going to do it anyway, but that was
it.
Precipitating event. Yeah.
That's been
Okay, so this is what's dumb, and I think he's lying when he says this. He said he was going to endorse Trump anyway, then why were you fucking trying to get DeSantis elected, you weirdo? That obviously, was not your plan from the beginning.
up
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
The day of the
I
assassination.
didn't know that.
Yeah. I sped it up, but I was going to do it anyway.
I think he's lying.
Mr. President, with your indulgence, I'm convinced
What does that
people
mean?
only know a little bit about Elon. I don't think they know everything.
With your indulgence? What is he, like a duke? Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Mr. President, with your honor and grace, may I please suck off Elon now?
About Elon, because as I studied for
Elon.
and prepared for this interview, they know everything about Elon, because as I studied for and prepared for this interview, I learned a lot about you that I didn't know. I think people will think about Tesla. Democrats are demonizing you and trying to make the country hate you. I just want people to understand you a little bit better, and the person that you've gotten to know and have now put a lot of trust in.
Sure.
And, just let's go over a little bit of your bio, starting with PayPal and how you became involved in Tesla and SpaceX and Neuralink and all
Take
these.
a while. I mean, I think the way to think of me is like I'm a technologist, and I try to make technologies that improve the world and make
can
life
show
better.
your shirt.
Yeah, and that's why I like.
Dude, I really like that Sean Hannity's question was, let's go over your background, I guess. That's not really a question. He was like, let's go over your background. People don't know Elon Musk, so your PayPal, your Neuralink. Yeah, he's king of computers, as Trump said it. What is his, amulet? What the fuck is that? Even Trump's like, ugh.
My T-shirt says tech support because I'm here to
I think that's the amulet that blocks Wi-Fi signals. Awesome.
provide the president with technology support. And now that may seem like, well, is that a silly thing? But actually, it's a very important thing because
Technology support. I'm 99% convinced that Elon Musk is just helping Trump with his Wi-Fi password, because Elon doesn't know very much about technology at all, despite describing himself as a technologist. It's an expert in a particular field of technology, or a person employed to look after technical equipment or do practical work in a laboratory. And Elon Musk is certainly neither of those. So he said that just because I think he likes the way the word sounds. But he's never going to enter a one-on-one interview with anyone that would call him out on that, probably for the rest of his life. So the Don Lemon interview was too much for him, and now he's never doing a contentious interview ever again.
the president will make these executive.
Imagine getting one-shotted by fucking Don Lemon and being reserved to never doing interviews after that. Just reclusing yourself, except for Sean Hannity drunkenly asking you, I don't know, how your fucking day is. That's the only level of interview Elon is capable of doing anymore. That and Twitter Spaces.
orders, which are very sensible and good for the country, but then they don't get implemented. If you take
That interview broke me. I think it broke Elon too. I think it really reinforced the victim narrative for him, and was everyone's out to get me, so I have to overthrow the government. I have to coup the government.
For example, all the funding for the migrant hotels. The president issued an
Of
executive
course.
order where, hey, we need to stop taking taxpayer money and paying for luxury hotels for illegal immigrants, which
crazy.
makes no sense. So obviously people.
Yeah, so this isn't how executive orders work, by the way. They're not just instant laws that you can enforce on the whole fucking country. But that's what Elon thinks they are, so he, doesn't matter.
Do not want their tax dollars going to fund high-end hotels for for illegals.
No, we want our tax dollars to fund high-end hotels for Secret Service when Trump charges them 3 times the rate at his own hotels, which is what he does, by the way, and still does. That's what our taxpayer dollars need to be paying for, not hotel rooms for people who literally have nowhere else to go. They can stay in the street. Sure, the executive is built in the Constitution with too much power. There's no precedent for what the Trump administration is doing, but it's not that illegal. It works to the degree that it needs them to work. It's still within the confines of like American institutions and American norms. But what Trump wants to do is use the power of the executive branch to shrink the federal government and then I think disable the power of the executive, as has been done in the past, to like shrink the government so anyone following the Trump presidency would have less power in fixing what he did than he had breaking it. That's exactly what I think the long-term plan is. Because that's how you get back to like 1800s times. And that is precedented. They took power from the executive and gave it to Congress, and then Congress did only corporatism. Only corporate fucking Gilded Age policy. It was bad. And that's exactly what Trump wants to get back to. Because corporations were fucking killing it back in the day.
And yet they were still doing that, even as late as last week.
Elon is so unseemly, I know.
And so, we went in there and we're like, this is in violation of the presidential executive order. It needs to stop. So
I don't know the way he's been talking. It sounds like Republicans aren't planning on having to answer to the electorate anytime soon. It depends on how you say answer, too. Because congressional Republicans are still, like, relatively popular given, like, again, relative to congressional figureheads and politicians in general. Face an election. I mean, they might not even have, like, a fucking successor, but Democrats certainly don't either. Democrats don't really have a single good person to put out within the party right now as a presidential candidate. Republicans can probably run, like, Marco Rubio and get like a decent enough amount of the vote. If there's no Democratic opposition, Marco Rubio is going to be your next president. Fetterman, yeah. No, he'll lose. Fetterman will lose. He will lose and then he'll sign with CAA, Harvey Weinstein's agency, just like Kamala Harris did. Just like Joe Biden did also. Bernie, he's too old, man. I don't think he'll do it. Article 1, Section 9, Clause 7 is the power of the purse clause. It's why these funding freezes are being overturned in court, but taking this stuff to court takes time. They're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what can stick and what they can get away with. Okay, for sure. That makes sense. It's not that they ultimately respect, like, the Constitution. They pick and choose, obviously. It's just that has kind of always been the case in American history. That's why we have so many amendments. We pick and choose. We take shit out. We add shit on. It's just Trump weaponizes American institutions very effectively by capturing them in a quote-unquote democratic fashion. AOC, too young and progressive. I don't think AOC has like zero chance. She's not too young anymore, but I still don't think, I don't know. It just depends. Isn't AOC a Zionist? Not really, but she doesn't have very good foreign policy takes.
Here is one of the biggest functions of the Doge team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out. And this is, I just want to point out, this is a very important thing because the president is the elected representative of the people. So he's representing the will of the people. And if the bureaucracy is...
I like that the implication is the president is the only elected representative of the people as opposed to Congress. The president is the elected representative of the people. It's like, yeah, there's not just one of them. What the fuck? Also, who are you? He's so fucking stupid, I know.
Fighting the will of the people and preventing the president from implementing what the people want, then what we live in is a bureaucracy and not a democracy.
Holy shit, dude, write this down. New political theory just dropped. Disgusting. Who taught this guy the word bureaucracy? Because they need to teach it to him better. He learned it recently and doesn't know what it means. The same with the word technologist. We're 2 for 2 on words Elon does not know the meaning of that he'll just throw out there, at least.
You're both aware, you have to be keenly aware that the media and the punditry class, not that, I think you've proven they have no power anymore because they threw everything they had at you and they didn't win. And that was, the New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They just...
Every late night comedy show was coming for you. What a roast, dude. Man, everyone hates your ass, dude. Every news channel, every comedy show, every movie. They all hate you and they all tried to cancel you, Mr. President. But also, you're the most elected man and you won all of the votes, I guess.
They threw everything, lawfare, weaponization.
Sure.
Wait, I'm sorry. Comedy shows through lawfare at you and weaponization of the government, which they definitely don't do, of course. Eden, I rewatched that interview with Don Lemon at least once a week. He's so fucking dumb. It's really bad how dumb Elon Musk is. And literally, that Don Lemon interview from, I think, 2 years ago now, is the last time he's spoken to a real contentious journalist that doesn't just suck him off. He will not talk to anyone else anymore. And that's fine to do.
I see. They want you two to start. They want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other.
They want a divorce.
President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time. They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things.
I like that Sean Hannity showed up with no questions. He started talking about lawfare and weaponization and how every news channel and every comedy show and every celebrity was shitting on Donald Trump because, you know, he's such a repugnant asshole, piece of shit, bad person, terrible leader. Why is Elon there? What happened to JD? I don't know. He's gone, dude. He's gone. He's not here anymore. The last time anyone saw JD Vance was walking into a erotic porn theater. He was never seen again. Some say he's still there.
Hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, you know, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. You know, they said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk.
I was saying Sean Hannity didn't show up with any fucking questions for either of these people. He just showed up and was like, so basically the news hates you, and they're really fucked up to you. How does that feel? And, you know, how does it feel to invent PayPal? And Elon's like, it feels good. It feels good, but I don't understand why the libs are so twiggled. And Sean Hannity goes, yep. I don't understand. There's a gas leak, I think.
President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, it's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me.
Nobody?
I could do the greatest things. I get 98% bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good friends, it's like the craziest thing. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really see what's happening.
They get it.
Yes.
And at the end of this interview, what I would like is I want people to know the relationship and know more about you.
Is this long COVID? Did they got the brain fog? Like, what the fuck happened? What the fuck is going on? Nobody can speak in this interview. It's kind of making my mind lose. I think it's affecting me. Did Hannity have a stroke or something? I think everyone in the room is suffering some kind of debuff. It's spreading.
What is the relationship, Mr. President?
Well, I respect him. I've always respected him. I never knew that he was right on certain things, and I'm usually pretty good at this stuff. He did Starlink. He did things that were so advanced and nobody knew what the hell they were.
Starlink is just satellite internet. I know what that is. Yeah, nobody knew. Nobody knew what it was until he came out with it. And it's like, no, man, you didn't know until he told you about it. And you thought he's the first guy to do it because you've never heard of it before. Republicans have spent the last 4 years mocking Biden's cognitive decline, but Trump just got ignored. Well, that's the thing, right? And I tried to point this out. In my video about the first debate with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I talked about how Trump, really, a younger Trump would have done a lot better against Joe Biden than the Trump that what we saw. And that was, I mean, what, almost a year ago now, in like June or something, or May of last year. Since then, Trump has gotten significantly worse. I think by the end of his 4 years, he's going to be like on the Joe Biden gas. Like whatever the fuck they were giving Joe Biden, whatever cocktail to keep him alive, he's probably on it already, because his brain is just melted. It's been melted, but it's worse. Like he can't hold a sentence. He can't carry a sentence. He can't do the weave as well as he used to be able to. Like this interview is pretty damning. And then he gave a speech today that was also really bad. It was rough. I don't know. He's not the same. He's not the same he used to be. That's for sure.
I can tell you in North Carolina, they had no communication. They were wiped out. Those people were, they had rivers in between. Land that never saw water, all of a sudden it was a river and a vicious, like rapids. People were dying all over. They had no communication. They said, you know Elon Musk? They didn't really know I knew him. I said, yeah. He said, could you get Starlink? It's like the first time I ever heard of it. I said, what's Starlink? A communications.
What, North Carolina? Wait. He was talking about the North Carolina hurricane? He wasn't even president yet.
System. That's unbelievable.
I have it.
Yeah. And he said, I called him and I said, listen, they really need it. And he got like thousands of units of this communication, and it saved a lot of lives. He got it immediately, and you can't get it. I mean, you have to wait a long time to get it. But he got it to him immediately, and I said, that's pretty amazing, and I didn't even know he had it.
Like what?
We watched the rocket ships, and we watched Tesla. I think, something that had an effect on me was when I saw the rocket ship come back and get grabbed, like you grab a beautiful little baby. You grab your baby. It just...
You see what I mean? He's like, oh God, he's becoming Joe Biden. You grab your baby, you grab a little baby. Uh-oh. No, I'm sure this is grand. This is awesome, dude. I'm sure we're good, dude. We're doing good.
Tesla. I think, something that had...
White House curse. There's a gas leak. Everyone thought Joe Biden was getting old. There's a gas leak in the White House, dude.
That affected me was when I saw the rocket ship come back and get grabbed, like you grab a beautiful little baby. You grab your baby.
He's talking about the SpaceX rocket catching thing, like the rocket catching landing mechanism, which is Elon's only contribution is just suggesting the idea. And that's, mythology, by the way. It is an absolute feat of engineering that this is possible. But Elon Musk did not do this. You grab it like a baby, you grab a baby. You grab a baby, baby. Trump said that's how you grab a baby. You grab a baby like you grab the rocket baby.
It just...
Hug the rocket.
I've never seen...
Right, everyone needs a hug and clean rockets.
I hate Elon Musk so much.
It just...
Hug the rocket.
I've never seen...
Right, everyone needs a hug and clean rockets.
Shut up! Sorry. Everyone needs a hug and clinical rockets. Everyone has a hug and clinical rockets. God, just like rehearse in your head a little bit before you open your fucking mouth, man. I know you can do it. It's not impossible. He just thinks every thought in his head before he even finishes thinking it is so valuable he can't help himself. Before he even calculates the necessary verbiage to say what he needs to say, he's already speaking.
No, but... And he said, you can't really have a rocket program if you're going to dump $1 billion into the ocean every time you fly. You have to save it.
Right.
And he saved it. First time that I've ever seen that done. Now, nobody else can do it. If you look at the U.S., Russia, or China, they can't do it. And they won't be able to do it for a long time. He has the technology. So you learn...
I don't think they need to. I mean, if Elon Musk starts like pirating space resources from asteroids and like other planets and stuff, I mean, that's just bad. He's just going to be enriching himself to a nauseating... I mean, you're literally going to find like deposits of gold in asteroids. Like you're going to find rare earth minerals. You're going to find like space is unlimited, infinite of the most valuable resources. And we're not even like running out. Like it's not even something that like is necessary. It's just so easy, or it's so protected. If it's free real estate in the eyes of capitalists. Yeah, it's space colonialism, and you bet your ass if there were fucking life forms or any kind of like sentient beings on these planets, they'd be fucking massacring them and killing them if they were sitting on top of valuable resources. But, it's just lucky that that's not the case, I guess.
I wanted somebody really smart to work with me in terms of the country, a very important aspect.
In terms of the country.
He doesn't talk about it. He's actually a very good businessman. And when he talks about the executive orders, and this is probably true for all presidents, you write an executive order and you think it's done. You send it out. It doesn't get done. It doesn't get implemented. They don't implement it.
Yes, this is still the first interview. I'm sorry. I've been getting really angry about this.
From the last administration, and they are in some cases, you try and get them out as fast as you can. But as soon as he said that, I said, that's interesting. You write a beautiful executive, and you sign it, and you assume it's going to be done, but it's not. What he does...
Okay, so he doesn't understand how executive orders work, and he likes that Elon Musk comes in like a fucking thug and just enforces whatever Trump wants, whatever he writes down on a piece of paper.
As he takes it, and with his 100 geniuses, he's got some very brilliant young people working for him that dress Much worse than him, actually.
Yeah,
they dress in just T-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 IQ.
Wait a minute. So what?
Yeah, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know they had 180 IQ by the way they dress or act or speak or in any of the work in their portfolio. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow. Yeah, it's almost like they just say that they have a high IQ. Yeah, one of them is named Big Balls. Anyone, Sean Hannity, you want to ask about Big Balls, or you're just cool with that? You just don't think that that's something you need to follow up on? Guess not.
He's your tech support.
No, he is.
I actually
but
literally
he's
am
much
tech
more than
support.
that.
I
Yeah.
literally-
Can one person at a time talk, please? Again, no questions for this interview, no organization for this interview. Sean Hannity isn't asking anyone anything in particular. He just said he's your tech support. And they can't even get the fucking role Elon Musk has clear. This is so bad. Yeah, he's so much more than that. He's my lover.
I am tech support though, but that's
He gets it done. He's a leader.
Yeah.
He really is. He gets it done. You get a lot of tech people, and you have people that are good with tech, but he gets it done. You know, I said in real estate.
Yeah, he's, some would say he's the leader doing the leading.
You had guys that would draw beautiful renderings of a building, and they'd draw the rendering, it would be great, and you say, great, when are you starting? But they were never able to get it built. They couldn't get the financing, they couldn't get the approvals, it would never...
Yeah, see, Elon here is willing to break the law, violate, human rights, steal, lie. He's willing to do a lot of crimes and a lot of immoral acts.
Never get done. And then you have other guys that are able to get it done. They could just get it done. I was in real estate. Same thing in this. He gets it done. So when he said that, he said, when you sign these executive orders, a lot of them don't get done, and maybe the most important ones.
Well, he gets it done.
And he would take that executive order that I'd sign, and he would have those people go to whatever agency it was. When are you doing it? Get it done, get it done. And some guy that maybe didn't want to do it, all of a sudden, he's signing. He just... doesn't want to be bothered.
Do a lot of those executive orders have to be codified?
Yeah, some guy doesn't want to get it done, he gets it done. Does anyone know if he gets it done? Guys, will they mention the Sig Heil? Hell no. Absolutely not. No, that's not newsworthy.
Into law. You need the Republican Congress
and
to
they
follow
will be.
up.
A lot of them will be.
They will.
But look, in the meantime, we have 4 years. The beauty is we have 4 years. That's why I like doing it right at the beginning, because an executive order is great. I mean, the one problem, it's both good and bad. Because when they did all these executive orders, I've canceled most of them. They were terrible. I mean, we're going to go radical left communist. Okay, it was crazy. Their executive orders were so
really crazy. We were going radical left communist. Joe Biden was taking us down that path. Just remember that. Just remember that Elon is telling us that communism is what he's saving us from. Elon is the opposite of communism. Everyone needs to literally hammer this home with their parents. Make them understand this. Everything Elon does is completely counter to communism, the opposite of communism.
If they ever got him codified, you'd never be able to break him. So the damage that Biden has done to this country, and it's not even Biden, it's the people that circled him in the Oval Office, okay? But the damage they did to this country, in terms of, let's say, open borders, there's so many things, but open borders where millions of people poured into our country, and hundreds of thousands of those people are criminals. They're murderers, they're drug dealers, they're gang members, they're people from prisons from all over the world.
Back on the border, baby. I thought we closed the border. Who cares anymore? I thought we fixed it. What?
And we have a great guy, Tom Homan, and he is doing so incredibly. You saw the number, like 96%.
95%.
He is a phenomenal guy. And Kristi Noem is doing an unbelievable job. And he wanted her. He said, she's so tough. And I said, I don't think of her as that way. She's very nice. He said, no, she's so tough. And she is. I see with the horses, she's riding the horse. Let's go. She's great. But the team we have is really unbelievable. But
well, yeah, Kristi Noem can govern good because she rides a horse, and she's really tough on the horses. She was really tough on the dog that she murdered too, because it was like too hard to train or whatever. She just shot it in the head. That's a real story.
Those executive orders, I sign them, and now they get passed on to him and his group and other people, and they're all getting done. We're getting them done.
Let me go back a little bit to your background.
She put that story in her own autobiography too. Republicans are so high on their own farts 24/7. They can't even they don't even have context. They don't even have humility.
It's beyond impressive. You were the chief engineer, for example. You were an early believer in Tesla. You became the CEO. And then
Sean Hannity sounds like Peter Griffin when he's drunk.
The chief engineer, which was phenomenal. SpaceX, same thing, which is unbelievable. I mean, you were the
God, the glazing is so lazy too. He just goes, so you had Tesla, right? You had Tesla, and then you had SpaceX, and they've already talked about how awesome that is, but he's still like, so SpaceX is phenomenal.
private company to send astronauts successfully into space. First private company to send astronauts into orbit.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
He's going to go into
That's pretty
orbit
deep.
soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's going to go to Mars. He's going to fly
Starlink.
on his...
At some point.
Okay, Grandpa. Why did Trump say that? He's gonna go into orbit soon. I fucking hope so.
He's going to go into orbit soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's going to go to
He's gonna go into orbit one day, my little son.
Is he?
Mars. He's going to fly
Starlink.
on
He's
his...
gonna
At
go to
some point.
Mars.
Yeah.
Is in
I
over.
mean, they always ask me, like, do you want to die on Mars? And I say, well, yes, but not on impact.
Starlink is in 100 countries. This is going to be hard. I feel like I'm interviewing. No,
He's so funny. How many times do you think he's told that joke? He's always making like fucking like puns. But he's so like megalomaniacal, he thinks that they're really funny jokes. His echo chamber is so dense, he just thinks he's hysterical.
two brothers here.
You go ahead.
Star Shield, which could be used for national defense.
Yeah, it is already being used for national defense.
Then you have what is it called? Optimus, a part of Tesla.
The robot, yeah.
Oh my god, we're still going over all the cool things he does. You have the Optimus. No need to talk about it or what it is or anything about it, but you have that. That's an accomplishment. Your product that you aren't selling yet.
Robotic arm. Then you have an AI arm. And then you have something that really fascinated me, and it's called Neuralink.
Yes.
You might help the blind to see.
Yes.
And people with spinal cord injuries
Yeah, you might theoretically. Sure, man.
that they can recover, where in the past, how close is that
Yeah.
to becoming a success?
Neuralink, we've implanted Neuralink in 3 patients so far who are quadriplegics, and it allows them to directly control their phone and computer just using their mind, just by thinking. It's like, so
Yeah, so you're not like healing the blind, are you, actually, at all? They can just control their computer with their mind. That's actually a completely different thing.
we call this product telepathy. So
Yeah, it actually allows you to post by thinking. Fucking revolutionary, man.
you control your computer and phone just by thinking, and it's possible to actually control the computer and phone faster than someone who has working hands. Then
Yeah,
the
you don't even need hands.
next step would be to add a second Neuralink implant past the point where the neurons are damaged, so that somebody can walk again, and so they can have full body functionality restored. And
you like Bobby, right?
I like Bobby, actually. Yeah, I think I supported Bobby Kennedy. I think he
Fucking dude, Neuralink is so nothing. It's nonsense. All Elon is making with Neuralink is a fucking peripheral for your computer, but with your brain. There's a girl on Twitch that streams with a fucking headset that plays Dark Souls with her mind. She doesn't have to have an implant. She just wears the headset. The technology is there to control stuff with your brain. He's just like implying it's more fucking advanced when he does it, because we might be able to help people walk. I don't know. So far we haven't, but maybe one day.
He's unfairly maligned as someone who is anti-science, but I think he isn't. He just wants to question the science, which is the essence of the science. The scientific method fundamentally is about always questioning the science.
Oh my god. Guy who does a lot of fucking science speaking. How many chimps got killed with his brain chip? A lot.
They didn't tell us the truth about COVID.
Correct.
That's for sure.
Yes.
And we learned a lot with the Twitter files. And that just then raises a question. You're the richest man in the world. You may not like that part. You're pretty competitive.
It's neither here nor there.
I've
I
known
don't
you a
know if it
long time.
matters.
But
That's why.
but he's on your team.
President. That's,
Well, that's true. He can't top that.
he's good. You know, I wanted to find somebody smarter than him. I searched all over.
Oh, really? What was your fucking test, Mr. President? It wasn't, he didn't fucking look very far.
I just couldn't do it. I couldn't.
You
I couldn't.
really tried hard.
I couldn't find anyone smarter, right? So we had it for the country.
But this is the thing.
We settled on.
For
we
the
settled
country, he says.
on this
Well,
guy.
thanks for having me.
So
I'm just trying to be useful
this is
here.
the interesting. This is where we are as a society. And
Yeah, I need to see your report card, I guess.
I hate to do this.
Unfortunately, we had to settle with Elon. I mean, he's being sarcastic, but I think that ironic faux sincerity or whatever that Trump kind of does. You know, he'll say a speech and then he'll be like, oh, have you ever heard of the word border? You ever heard of border? You need to have a border. Like, he'll say something really like basic as like kind of a joke. Elon kind of does that too. It's a very weird commonality in their like phraseology, I guess, like their lexicon of speech. Like, they both do that, and I think for some reason they like synergize in a weird way. Like, they clearly like each other and they speak very similarly.
But I'm going to do it anyway. You're doing all of these things. Nobody at Doge gets paid a penny, correct?
Well, actually, some people are federal employees.
Some are, okay.
Yeah,
they're helping.
But it's fair to say that the software engineers at Doge could be earning millions of dollars a year, and instead of earning a small fraction of that as
Okay, so they are being paid. Okay.
federal employees.
Okay, so just
And they're very committed people.
so
Yes.
you're
big
committed to
balls.
helping the blind see, people with spinal cord injuries recover.
Yes.
You're
Yeah, as long as they can pay for it, of course, or sign their rights away in a waiver.
committed to getting to Mars. You're committed to rescue. You're going to help rescue next month
Yeah, it's something called technologism.
2 astronauts that I think were abandoned. They dispute that in an interview.
When are you gonna-
Yeah, the astronauts themselves don't feel abandoned. They dispute that, I guess.
when are you
At the
getting them?
president's request, or instruction, we are accelerating the return of the astronauts, which was postponed kind of to a ridiculous degree.
They got left in space.
They've been there. They were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
They got left in space.
To a ridiculous degree.
They got left in space.
They've been there. They were supposed
That's scary. So the right-wing media has really like made this seem like a Joe Biden thing. They talk about it honestly more than they talk about any other one singular thing in these fucking interview videos.
to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
They were put,
Yeah.
yes, they were left up there for political reasons, which is not good.
That's not none of that
Okay,
is
it's
true.
not good. Now, if I had the weight of the pressure of doing that successfully,
They've been on the International Space Station longer than they were supposed to. By a lot, don't get me wrong. But they're not abandoned. They're monitored constantly. Every, like, fucking cubic feet of oxygen that they take up has to be calculated in the fucking process of keeping all of the people on the ISS alive. Like, they're not stranded. They've just been waiting to go back. Honestly, they sound like they're having a good time. That's from the astronauts themselves. They don't want to be called stranded. They said they feel comfortable and prepared. Why does the interviewer look like that? That's Sean Hannity. He looks really bad. He looks like they're like doing something to him. I don't know. Free vacation? Honestly, kind of. They probably really don't have any work to do. They're like nerd scientists on the ISS for longer than they have to be. Like, they're chilling up there. Starting a podcast, I think. I'm joking. That would be really funny though.
on my shoulders, I think I'd be, you know. But when we spoke before we did this interview, you are very confident. You think this will be a successful mission.
Well, we don't want to be complacent, but we have brought astronauts back from the space station many times before, and always with success. So,
Elon's SpaceX testing has delayed recent missions to go get them, by the way. They were supposed to launch this month, but because they're using SpaceX, they have to wait longer now, which is awesome. Imagine your lifelong dream being to go to space, and then you're told you get to stay in space even longer than you wanted. Yeah, they're not worried about it, honestly.
as long as we're not complacent,
When are you going to launch?
I think it's about 4 weeks to bring them back.
About 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And
And
You
we're
have
being
the go-ahead.
extremely cautious. Yeah.
You now have the go-ahead.
Yes. Well, thanks to you.
They didn't have the go-ahead with Biden.
What's that?
He was going to leave him in space. I think he was going to leave him in space.
well, it's like
He
we
considered
were
it
growing
like-
up, lost in space.
Yeah, he didn't want the publicity. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable.
I mean, Boeing didn't either if it failed.
So
Yeah.
I want to echo
If it
something
failed,
that the president said.
It
and
would have
then-
been so bad if the mission to go get them failed. And that was the risk. There was a huge risk. Elon, stop Bashar posing. He's been doing that. I really resent him.
overarching question. So people
care
that
anymore.
get hit with Hurricane Helene, they have no communication with the outside world. You come to the rescue, you donate.
Why are we talking about Hurricane Helene? This was months ago, and people in North Carolina still don't have power because they're defunding U.S. aid and FEMA.
And he saved a lot of lives.
And California after the wildfires?
California, but I mean, in North Carolina, where they were really in trouble, they had no communication. People were
Nothing.
dying. They were dying of starvation. He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina.
Okay. Now you're going to
Okay.
rescue astronauts.
Are you okay, Chatter? Enjoy karma. Karma. Karma! Are you trying to bring it upon me? You're casting it? Karma's a bitch. I should've known better. question mark, like they're not typing in my chat.
You do all of this. I would think liberals would love the fact that you have the biggest electric vehicle company in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be adored by the left, you know.
Yeah, not anymore.
Less so.
Yeah, well, I wonder why not anymore. Maybe it's the Hitler salutes and the Nazism. Maybe it's all of the Nazi stuff you've been doing. Could be. I think they just hate me because no reason, probably. Because no reason. Because I didn't do anything wrong is why they hate me.
He killed that, huh?
I mean,
I really didn't know.
Well, I mean, this whole sort of like, you know, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome, and I don't, you know, you don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and it was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before. I happened to mention the president's name.
Yeah, you happened to mention the president's name. All he said was Trump. No context or sentence with it. He said everyone was behaving normally, of course, until he showed up.
And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies. Okay, and they're like, wow. And I'm like, what is wrong? Like, guys, like, you can't have like a normal conversation.
Sorry, what did they say?
In the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies. Okay, and they're like, wow. And I'm like, what is wrong? Like, guys, like, you can't have like a normal conversation.
I don't follow. I don't understand, mainly because like he's trying to make the point that leftists are just so unreasonable. Liberals just don't, they get so upset when they hear Trump. But you can't like say what they were upset about. You don't even have like you clearly don't listen.
They don't care what they're upset about. They just think they're being SJWs.
They were attacking me. They had rabies and meth, I guess.
Yeah.
And Trump did side-eye him. He really didn't like that.
It's like they become completely irrational.
He has no idea, but if you're friends with him, you pay a price. You know, it's like I walk into a restaurant in New York and it's like half the room it's daggers and they want to.
Deserved. Also, Sean Hannity, that has nothing to do with Trump and everything to do with you. I guess the reason everyone hates Elon Musk is because of Trump. The reason everyone hates Sean Hannity is because of Trump. Nothing to do with them. It's just Trump, I guess. Why does Elon sit like that? I don't know. He's really annoying. The way he's moving his mouth around too really makes me think he's on drugs.
Idagger's level is insane. Yeah. I mean, there was like, I had like some invitation because I got invited to like basically a big sort of demo event like that was, but it received the invitation like the beginning of last year, and then
He's glitching!
He's the smartest guy. I tried to find a smarter guy. I couldn't do it.
He's so smart he can't even speak!
This is not important, I know, but he'd rather talk about how he went to a big event than any of the things he's doing in the government right now.
And I still attended even after I'd endorsed President Trump, and I didn't realize how profoundly that would affect, how I was received. I mean, I walk into the room and I'm getting just the dirty looks from everyone. Like, if looks could kill, I would have been dead several times over.
So both of what Sean Hannity and Elon Musk are describing is just people looking at them mean? Sean Hannity's like, I go to a restaurant in New York, everyone's looking at me mean. And Elon's like, I went to an event after the election and everyone looked at me mean. Like, yeah.
But that was not before Trump. Before Trump, that never happened, right?
No.
Yeah, before Trump, that never happened. How, dude, they're fake friends. Trump is just sitting there and they're talking about how fucking hard their life is because they're friends with him. And he just has to sit there, he just has to sit there and take it. I can't do this. This is only 1/3 of the interview. He loves us.
Welcome back to Hannity, and we are back. And here's part 2 of my exclusive interview with President Trump and Elon Musk. Take a look. This is the $1 million or $1 billion, I'm among billionaires, question. So you have all of this going on.
Dude, inflation on the $1 million question is crazy, by the way.
And you stop, in a way. You're still doing it. And you partner with him. And this is what you get from the Democrats. You get, nobody voted for Elon. Well, nobody voted for any of your cabinet.
Elon? What? He keeps fucking up his name. Elon? Elam?
Nominees. Okay. People are dying because of Doge cuts. I'll give you a chance to respond to all that. What
Yeah.
Doge is doing is illegal.
Elon expression is sinister from this angle.
Give
yeah.
me a chance.
He
Are
was just
dying.
making like an evil face for a while.
Elon, well, nobody voted for any of your cabinet nominees. Okay. People are dying because
moving around
of
like
Doge
that?
cuts. I'll give you a chance to respond to all that. What
Yeah.
Doge is doing is illegal. Elon Musk is more street vernacular for a male body part. It's a
Okay.
Street vernacular? Elon Musk is balls. Yeah, I think dick.
constitutional crisis.
Why are they reacting like this?
I love that his fucking response is just indignation. Classic Elon Musk. Why are they responding like this? I wonder.
Well, first of all, do you give it flying rip? Oh, number one, and
Well, I guess we must be over the target or doing something right. You know, if like they wouldn't be complaining so much if they.
It's awesome. He speaks in catchphrases. He speaks in Reddit. Anything that has Reddit gold in a fucking comment thread is a fucking phrase in Elon Musk's, hat that he just pulls out at random. We must be doing something right if we're if they're coming at us. Great, dude. Fucking check that one off the list.
Look, what all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president. And what we're finding is that there's an unelected
president.
bureaucracy. Speaking of unelected, there's a vast federal bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to.
Implacably? I love him just throwing out words whenever. Words that mean not what he's trying to say. But who's to say? He doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's saying. Implacably.
And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy. Speaking of unelected, there's a vast federal bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to the president and the cabinet. And you look at, say, DC voting, it's 92% Kamala. Okay, so we're 92% Kamala. That's a lot.
they don't like me here either.
I think about that number a lot. I'm like,
They
90.
don't like you here. They don't like you in New York. Where do they like you, Sean? Why don't you go there, you son of a bitch?
2%. That's basically almost everyone.
Yeah.
And so, how can you?
Let it out. You got
if
it.
the will of the president
Come on.
is not implemented,
There we go.
and the president is representative of the people, that means the will of the people is not being implemented, and that means we don't live in a democracy. We live in a bureaucracy, and so.
Did he not already say this? All that just to fucking say something he already said basically verbatim. He is on drugs. He's on drugs. He's on drugs on television. I mean, me too, but like way more than me.
So I think what we're seeing here is the thrashing of the bureaucracy as we try to restore democracy and the will of the people. Is this making sense? I mean.
Bro, why does he look like this? I can't. This is the face of a man who's on the fucking, he's already on Mars. Trump said he's going into orbit. He was talking about the fucking ket, bro. He was talking about the ketamine. He's already there, man. At a high level, implacably. Dude, I'm feeling implacable right now. I'm sorry. I don't know about y'all. I'm feeling implacable at the moment. This is America. This is American politics. This is normal now. My dick is implacable. That sounds like a rap. My dick is implacable. My money is stackable. PS3, my boy, he is sackable. Like Sackboy. I'm just gonna stop there. I'm not against drugs. I literally endorse drugs and I think drugs should be legal. But I truly despise the audacity of someone who, under the banner of the Republican Party that is simultaneously legislating trans people out of existence in the name of family values, is consistently abandoning his IVF fucking test tube children with random women all over the world while showing up on TV to just basically be a tech bro crackhead for a softball interview with a drunk Irish bastard. It's heinous, dude. It's offensive. I'm not the only one who feels this way, but goddamn do I feel strongly about it. It's heinous. It's just fucking disgusting. I don't know. Yeah, drugs for me, not for thee. Exactly. Just not even trying to cover up for his fucking disgusting like his just fucking vile behavior. There's just not that it would make it better. I don't know. There's not even anything redeeming about this. It's all bad. It's all evil. This is the face of a man who just went on another fucking dimension. He's coming down hard.
Yeah, no, of course it does. I mean, to me, if you look at our framers and our founders, and you really become a student of history, Mr. President. And
and fucking Sean Hannity looks like a troll doll. Why does his eyes look like this? His eyes are like huge and sparkly. I don't understand. Everyone looks nuts. Everyone does look like the Andrew Tate emo. Yeah, his eyes are like dilated or something.
We've had conversations both on air and off air. And if we talk about
Dobby
constitutional order or transformational change, nobody can argue that what's happening here is it's going at the speed of light. But however, what were the principles of our framers and our founders? They wanted limited government, greater freedom for the people.
See, this is what I mean, dude. George Washington would fucking honestly low-key like Elon Musk. Like, this is fucking early America mentality. Kleptocracy. Bourgeois democracy. Inequality. That is what America stood for in its inception. Those are our institutions, and we have never truly reformed them. We've band-aided them.
And we'll get to the specific cutting of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is your goal, is it not?
Yeah, and my goal was to get great people. And when you look at what this man has done, I mean, it was something. I knew him a little bit through the White House. Originally, I'd see him around a little bit. I didn't know him before that. And I respected what he did, and he fought hard. You know, he was maybe questioned for a while. He was having some difficulties. It was not easy doing what he did. I mean, how many people have started a car company and made it really successful?
He never started it. He didn't start it. He made it more successful, but I mean, that's not even him. That's fucking Tesla's engineers.
Made a better car where it's, you know, beating these big companies that's all they do is cars. I mean, it's really amazing the things he's done.
But he's heavily subsidized by the government. That's how he competes with other corporations, because they aren't as heavily subsidized.
I didn't know it as much then as now. I mean, the fruits have sort of taken hold. But I wanted great people. And he's a great person. He's an amazing person. He's also a caring person. You know, he uses the word care.
I hate this, man. He can't even talk about his qualifications. It's just mythology. It's just like vague, like, oh, he started a car company. Not true. Made it really successful. He sucks off the fucking federal teat. Whatever. He doesn't know that, I don't think. I don't think Trump knows about fucking green energy subsidies that Tesla has received since the fucking Obama administration. I don't know. I don't know if he knows. But you got to think about how much he cares and how good of a person he is. He's such a good guy. He's so nice. He cares. He just cares so much. He says the word care.
So they sign a contract in a government agency, and it has 3 months, and the guy leaves that signed the contract, and nobody else is there, and they pay the contract for 10 years.
Yeah.
So the guy is getting checks for years and years and years, and he's telling his family, obviously, maybe it was crooked, maybe he paid to get the contract, or maybe he paid that they didn't terminate it. But, you know, we have contracts that go forever, and they've been going for years. And they're supposed to end in 3 months or 5 months or 2 years or something, and they go forever. So the guy is either crooked, you know, where he knew this was going to happen, or he's crooked because he's getting payments that he knows he shouldn't be getting. But they're finding things like that. They're finding things far worse than that. And they're finding
Granted, I'm gay.
billions,
Logan Paul is my savior.
It will be hundreds
KSI
of
is my
billions of
favorite.
dollars worth of fraud. I say
Italian sneako.
waste and abuse.
Prawn
but
is
fraud,
good.
waste, and abuse. And he's doing an amazing job. And he attracts a young, very smart type of person. I call them high IQ individuals, and they are. They're very high IQ and high IQ. And when they go in to see the people and
He calls them high IQ individuals, of course.
talk to these people,
High IQ.
you know, the people think they're going to pull it over. They don't. These guys are smart, and they love the country. You know, there's a certain something. But he uses the word care. So people have to care. Like, when I bought Air Force One, I negotiated the price. It was $5.7 billion, and I got them down to $1.7 billion. Now they're not building the plane fast enough. I mean, they're actually in default. Boeing.
I mean, maybe you should have paid what the plane was worth. I don't know.
That's supposed to
When
have
is
been
it?
building this thing
This is
forever.
the
I don't
new
know what's
Air Force
going
One.
on.
Yeah.
That we don't build the way we used to build. You know, we used to build like a ship a day, and now to build a ship is like a big deal. And we're going to get this country back up.
Oh my God. Now to build a ship is like a big deal. It's almost like ships are different than they used to be or something. They're like bigger.
Track. We can do it, but so many things. It takes so long to get things built. And
Yeah, it used to cost like $700 to go to college and $500 to put a down payment on a house. Lots of things used to be a kind of way, you know? We used to sink a ship a day, yeah. No, we need to go back to making ships out of fucking shit. Out of nothing. It's because we don't get paid enough. Yeah, when they lay off a ton of people at Boeing, and he's like, it's taking so long. Maybe because of DEI. No, the fucking $5,000 check is not real, by the way. It's fake as fuck. He's never gonna do that. It's a lie.
get things done. And a lot of it could be something we've been discussing. The regulators go in and they make it impossible to build. They make it very difficult to build anything, whether it's a ship, a plane, or a building, or anything. And
You can't build anymore.
some of them do it because they want to show how important they are. Some of them do it maybe because they think they're right. They use the environment to stop progress and to stop things. It's always the environment. It's an environmental problem. It's not an environmental problem at all. But they do a lot of things. And by the way, speaking of that, Lee Zeldin is going to be fantastic in the position. It's so important. He could take 10 years to approve or disapprove something, or he could do it in a month. You know, just as good.
Sure.
And I think you're going to see a fantastic job done by him. He's a tremendous guy.
Newt, you echoed something when I just met you, and it was very similar to what Newt has been saying, that he brought this country to the dance. This is the opportunity
Yes.
to be transformational and to have, I would argue, the most consequential presidency.
Yes.
If we really dig down and do something that had never been done before, and that is get rid of this bureaucracy. And I'm going to get to the
Yes.
specifics. You say the same thing. It's not
Absolutely.
done yet. And what did you mean by that?
I mean, winning the election is really the opportunity to fix the system. It is not fixing the system itself. So it's an opportunity to fix the system and to restore the power of democracy. And people like. It's funny how often when these attacks occur, the thing that they're accusing the administration of is what they are guilty of. They're saying,
Oh, of course. I hate this. Yeah, everything you're doing is actually what I'm doing.
that things are being done unconstitutional, but what they are doing is unconstitutional. They are guilty of the crime of which they accuse us.
That's always the first thing they do. He's
Yeah.
in violation of the Constitution. They don't even know what they're talking. Well, they do.
Of course.
It's just a con job. It's a big con job. And they're so bad for the country, so dangerous and so bad. And the media is so bad. When I watch MSNBC, which I don't watch much, but you have to watch The Enemy on occasion, the level of arrogance and cheating, and they're just horrible people. These
They
are
lie.
horrible people.
Who are they talking about? MSNBC and CBS.
Tell conspiracy
liars.
theories.
And they start up with the Constitution. They
enemy.
couldn't care less about the Constitution. CNN, likewise. I mean,
no
I
one
watch
does.
them asking questions with, the hatred with the. I said, "Why are you asking the question with such anger? You're asking me a normal question, but you see the bias. The bias is so incredible. Those two are bad. PBS is bad. AP is bad.
The
CBS is
Associated Press? Does he I guess the only good one is fucking Fox News.
terrible. I mean, CBS
Yeah.
now, they changed an answer in Kamala. They asked her some questions. She
Kamala.
answered them like, a low IQ person, the opposite of him, the absolute opposite. But
God, the way he said that was so gay. The absolute opposite. I hate her and I love you.
she gave a horrible answer. They took the entire answer out and they put another answer that she gave 20 minutes later into as the
Part of her
answer.
word
I've
salad.
never even heard of that. I thought I heard of it all.
I'm going to, just for the sake of saving
He's never heard of editing an interview before. Okay.
time,
Yeah.
because I could spend, and I've done this on radio and TV, I can spend an hour finding the outrageous amounts of money being spent abroad like USAID. And I just want to mention a couple, but I'm going to scroll it. And
I guess at a high level, I think it's...
No, not this again. Please don't start saying this. No. I hate when he says at a high level. He's never speaking at a high level, dude. He's always speaking at caveman level.
What the president mentioned earlier, which is that in order to save taxpayer money, it comes down to two things: competence and caring. And
when you really think about it, Sean Hannity, the secret ingredient is actually love. The best thing you can have for a government is love, caring. I hate this. Yeah, because he cares so much about redirecting funds from the VA to his pocket.
When the president was shown the outrageous bill for the new...
When president?
And when president was...
That's awesome. When president was shown, that's so funny.
Shown the outrageous bill for the new Air Force One, and then negotiated it down, if the president had not applied competence and caring, the price would have been 50% higher. Literally 50% higher.
Okay, bro, he saved money on buying his own plane. He still doesn't have it. Okay, who cares, man? This is so stupid. Yeah, he haggled. Awesome.
The president cared. The president was competent. The price was not...
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for buying a jet for cheaper than it was supposed to be. I'm so fucking proud of this country.
50% higher as a result. And so when you add more competence and caring, you get a better deal for the American people.
But we were talking about this yesterday. I could give me thousands of bills. I could pick any one of them.
Yes, exactly.
But I could take all 1,000. And let's say it's a bill for $5,000, just $5,000, and it's done by some bureaucrat. And if he would say, I'll give you 3, I don't want to pay you 5, it's too high, I'll give you 3. But they don't do that. If a guy sends in a bill for $5,000, they pay $5,000. They expect to be cut. Everybody expects to be cut. When you send in a bill, you expect to be cut. They send in the bill higher for the most part. This is true with lawyers, legal fees. When they send in legal fees, I can cut. I wish I had the time. I would save so, but I could cut these bills in half, much better than half. But you offer people a much lower number because you know they actually put fat. I'm not even saying it's like a way of business. They put more on because they expect to be negotiated. When you send in a bill to the government, there's nobody to negotiate.
Yes.
You send in a bill for $10,000 and they send you a check back for $10,000. If you would call them and said, we'll give you 5. No, I need more than 5. We'll give you 5. I'm not going to pay any more than 5. Make it 6. No, I'm not going to make it 6. And you'll settle for $5,500. You've just cut the bill almost in half. And it took like 2 minutes. But none of that's
Don't we call that the art of the deal?
But that's caring. No, it's not even the art of the deal. It's caring. He uses the word. It's caring.
Yeah.
It's caring. He uses the word caring, and it's caring. He just cares. He just loves.
A certain competence, but I think it's more caring than competence.
If you add either ingredient, either competence or caring, you'll get a better outcome. But it stands to reason that if you don't have competence, you don't have caring, you're going to get a terrible deal. And the problem is that the American taxpayers have been getting a terrible deal because look at the last administration. Can anyone?
He doesn't have anything. They've been getting a terrible deal because look at the last administration. Really? That's because? Just the whole thing? Yeah, shut up about Joe Biden, dude. You are in power. Why?
Can any reasonable person say that the last administration was either competent or caring?
But they lied to us and said that Joe didn't have a cognitive decline.
They fully lied.
They said the borders were closed. They said that the borders were secure. They said that they said Obamacare would save.
They flat out lied.
They flat out lied.
Insane.
Last part.
Welcome back to Hannity, and we are in the Washington swamp where for years far left
We are in the Washington swamp.
bureaucrats burned through your hard-earned tax dollars on woke political causes, Green New Dealism, transgenderism, and, even anti-American propaganda. Those days are now over. More of my interview with President Trump.
Those days are now over, but we are going to proceed to talk only about those days and not about what Trump is doing and why he's doing it. I'm convinced aliens abducted a bunch of people and replaced their brains with toddler brains as a social experiment to see how long we'd notice. I bet they're surprised we voted one of them for president. Trump is just kicking back and he's just like, no, Elon's got it, man. He's handling it.
Elon Musk.
Swagism.
As I scroll this information, and I'll scroll a lot more than I'll mention
Oh
to
yeah,
both
the
of you.
scroll. It's so miserable, dude. Get ready for the scroll.
And this is the cost savings. I want people at home to understand this part. Average American makes $66,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay? We have $37 trillion in national debt.
Yes.
Now, all the money I'm about to mention and what we're going to scroll
I'm
on our
gonna lose
screen.
my mind. I'm gonna lose my mind. I get so triggered by this shit. It fucking actually makes me lose it. The USAID fucking bullshit. All of these are lies. Basically, all of these are lies, except like $40 million to build schools in Jordan. Like, yeah, dude. Like, fucking, they don't need those. What the fuck? Duh. The U.S. Agency for International Development is building schools in another country? Big fucking surprise. This is corruption? Questionable spending. Okay. We're allies with Jordan. Like, yeah, duh. We're building schools there. We're developing other countries at the U.S. Agency for International Development. How the fuck is this happening? We gotta cut it. We gotta cut. This dude, that $40 million that was going to schools in Jordan, we gotta give him to fucking Elon Musk, dude. We gotta give the $40 million to Elon Musk instead. $20 million on a Sesame Street show in Iraq. Yeah, dude. Whatever the fuck that means.
All of this is going
The scroll is pissing me off, but I'm gonna let it run.
to foreign countries. It is not being spent here in
Yes.
America for better schools, law and order.
I think the average tax-paying American should be mad as hell. Because
Law and Order. Yeah, we need to give the $20 million from fucking Arabic Sesame Street. We need to give that to the cops.
their tax money is being
I'm
poorly
mad.
spent.
All right, let me go to the next.
Yeah, DEI scholarships in Burma. Not even true.
Yeah.
The second question first. I want to know, because people like Joni Ernst and
Yeah,
House
Joni Ernst has been has tried for a long time, and she's actually got a lot of good data.
A DEI musical in Ireland. This one was interesting because it had nothing to do with DEI. It just happened to have some gay people in it. One announcement for the event mentioned diversity, inclusion, and equality, which is not DEI. They're saying nothing, I know. And this was not USAID, by the way. This one's awesome because it wasn't even USAID. It was the State Department. Fox News is run by fucking morons that can't even check their facts.
Senator Ernst has been really helpful, actually.
Okay, but they actually hide what the real purpose of the spending is.
Sure.
In other words,
Yeah, transgender comic book in Peru, that wasn't even real. It was the fucking U.S. Embassy in Peru that commissioned an artist to make a comic book about education and exchange programs in the U.S. It happened to feature a gay student in the second comic book, and that's how it became a transgender comic book in Peru. And again, $32,000 is quite literally nothing. Quite literally, when it comes to federal spending, it is a completely forgettable amount of money. But you know, transgender comic book, there's not even any trans people in it. There was just one gay person in one of the comics. And the comics themselves were about scholarships, exchange programs, and furthering your education in Peru.
and how, this is a question. How did you decipher?
$44 million for food and economic assistance for Venezuelan migrants in Colombia. Yeah, dude, because Venezuela is scary socialist country. Do you not remember? So we help we help migrants from countries that we view as our enemies. So we have a population in the country to talk shit about the government of that country. It's exactly what we did with Cubans, but somehow we just forget about it. We've done it. We've been doing it for Venezuelans. Like, I don't understand.
It will say humanitarian blah, blah, blah in Serbia or Afghanistan. We even give money to China
blah,
for crying
blah,
out
blah.
loud,
Who cares
which I think
what
is
it is?
nuts.
Or give money to the Taliban.
But money to the Taliban.
Like a lie.
Sean Hannity was saying we're giving money to China, which is insane. Elon Musk has businesses in China, dude. He literally has corporations that make money in China. Why are you saying this? Of course we're giving money to China. They give us money for other shit.
All right, so
This is just how trade works. I love that Trump isn't even saying anything. Who cares, man? Fucking Mr. President standing by like the fucking butler.
So, like, for what?
But they-
I want to see the pictures of what they did.
but they try to obscure it, but then you got to the bottom line, which is what I'm now scrolling on the screen,
Yes.
and that is $20 million on a Sesame
Live
Street
Cup
show
share,
in
yeah.
Iraq, $56 million to boost tourism in Tunisia and Egypt, $40 million to build schools in Jordan, $11 million to tell the Vietnamese to stop burning trash, $45 million for DEI
What do you
scholars.
mean to tell them?
Ships in Burma, 520 million for consultant-driven ESG investments in Africa.
And think about how many millions and millions and millions and millions. I mean, according to the Doge website, they're saving $55 billion, and they're going to give you 5K. Oh, thanks, man. You're getting 1/700th, maybe, of what Elon's making off of this? Maybe 1/7000th is a little more accurate. I don't know.
DEI programs in Serbia. The president's favorite. I'm sure you love that taxpayer money was spent on a DEI musical in Ireland, or a transgender opera in Colombia, or a transgender comic book.
It sounds like how can these things be real? But this is actually what was done.
Yeah, it sounds like they're not even real, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound like it's not real? This is also not even US aid as well. The opera, it just has a transgender character in it, and it just becomes a transgender opera. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, they transitioned the opera.
It sounds like a comedy sketch or
I have
something.
20 pages of this.
Right. It's not. It's a list a mile long.
If you had to put a number on it, how much do you think you've identified waste, fraud, abuse, corruption at this point? And again, we're going to be scrolling this throughout the program.
Well, the overall goal.
Yeah, Colombian theater at the University of the Andes in Bogota. That's too woke, I guess.
Is to try to get $1 trillion out of the deficit, and if the deficit is not brought under control, America.
He's trying to get $1 trillion out of the deficit so Trump can then give $5 trillion of tax cuts to him.
Will go bankrupt. This is a very important thing for people to understand.
Yeah, the government can go bankrupt, yeah, man, if they forget to print the money.
No different from an individual, in that if an individual overspends, an individual can go bankrupt, and so can a country.
Can an individual accumulate a $2 trillion deficit? How does an individual do that? That's weird. When an individual prints money and mints their own currency, is it like seen as legitimate and used around the entire world? Or is that how in the actual fuck does a government go bankrupt? Exactly. Especially the richest country in the world that has the fucking global like currency. There's no bankrupt. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Individual finances could not be more different from the finances of a fucking government. Elon is literally just saying, it's just like your bank account. You can't spend too much money. He thinks you're dumb.
And the massive waste, fraud, and abuse that has been going on, which is leading to a $2 trillion a year deficit. That's what the president was handed on Jan 20th, a $2 trillion deficit. It's insane.
Cover them.
For this fiscal year.
Yeah, we inherited.
Yeah.
And inflation is back. I'm only here
Inflation's back. Wait, how? I thought we ended wokeness.
for 2.5
Thank
weeks.
you, Free
That
Dave.
was January.
Inflation
We were
is
there for a
back.
week.
No, think of it. Inflation's back, and they said, "Oh, Trump inflation." I had nothing to do with it. These people have run the country. They spent money like nobody's ever spent. They were given $9 trillion to throw out the window. $9 trillion. And they spent it on the Green New scam, I call it. It's the greatest scam in the history of the country. One of them. We have a lot of them, I guess, but one of them. Dollar-wise,
and
probably.
DEI.
Somehow inflation returned. Maybe because of the Green New Deal. Maybe that's why we have a lot of inflation, because they passed the Green New Deal and the DEI Act.
And wokeism and transgenderism.
Well, that's all part of it.
And wokeism and transgender, all of that contributes to inflation, not mass layoffs in the federal government, and not Elon Musk being the richest singular person in the world and hoarding all of his wealth. That doesn't have anything to do with inflation.
Yeah.
And LGBTQ+.
It's just a dumb decision from Trump's perspective.
Yes.
By the way, not in America. Other countries, not here.
You know, the amazing thing is when you see like the teaching of DEI, $9 million. How do you spend $9 million to teach? No matter what it is, you could teach
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
physics.
Totally.
You could go to MIT for
It's
a lot
exactly
less.
expensive.
Yeah,
Expensive.
the teaching of
Expensive
DEI.
BS.
How much do you believe?
It's awesome that Elon doesn't like other people talking, so he just starts talking over them. It's a trait that I really truly hate about him. He just started talking. Yeah, you only hire one teacher. You can go to MIT for less than that. Well, okay, can you run MIT for less than $9 million? How long can you run MIT for on $9 million? I'll tell you, not very fucking long. God damn, dude. teaching.
A
Seems
lot
like
less.
expensive.
Yeah,
Expensive.
the teaching of
Expensive
DEI.
BS.
How much do you believe, Elon,
He just cut Trump off. Pissing me off, bro. Let him talk. The president, by the way.
you've identified in waste, fraud, abuse, corruption now? And how much do you anticipate you will?
Sure. Well, I think
1%. No, because it's so massive. This is
Yeah,
huge
exactly.
money.
So what we
Huge
found
money.
now is 1%.
we're just gotten
as
started.
good as they
here.
are.
Trump is like, I feel like he's getting mad that Elon's answering too many questions. Huge money.
They're not going to find some contract that was crooked, crooked as hell. I mean, there's going to be so much that isn't found. But what is found, I think.
What do you mean there's going to be so much that isn't found? Oh, he can't find everything. What the fuck is he doing here? God damn. He can't even do what he's saying he's doing right. He can't even find the fraud good, in Trump's opinion.
I think he's going to find $1 trillion.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think it's a very small percentage compared to what it is.
Let me go to an area that I think is key, and you talked about this in recent interviews, and that is we don't need a Department of Education. Okay. And what some people are trying to do is stoke fears that, oh my gosh, my kid's not going to get the money for education, or grandma's Social Security and Medicare. This was a big promise of yours on the campaign.
Dude, Trump literally approved a Republican fucking budget bill that cut like 80 billion or something from Medicare and Medicaid. Like, yes, sorry, hundreds of billions. Yeah, they want to cut it by like 44%. $880 billion in cuts to Medicaid.
Campaign trail. So I really want to give you both an opportunity to assure the American people you will keep that money will be allocated for students, but with higher standards. For example, I would assume associated with monies given or
Just
vouchers.
so much, and then
Yeah, you need higher standards. People, the student loans are given away too frivolously. That's the real problem. It's not the college is too expensive. They're not giving student loans to people who deserve it.
Elon goes, but look, Social Security won't be touched, other than if there's fraud or something.
Other than if there's fraud or something, which, can really just show up at any time. You never know. If Elon says it's got to go, well, then it's got to go.
We're going to find it's going to be strengthened, but won't be touched. Medicare, Medicaid, none of that stuff is going to be touched.
Nothing.
You
want
don't
you to-
have to. Now, if there are illegal migrants in the system, we're going to get them out of the system and all of that fraud, but it's not going to be touched.
Fraud.
School. I want to bring school back to the states so that Iowa.
Are Americans gaining class consciousness, or is this propaganda working? I don't think they're gaining class consciousness very quickly, but I think it's close. I don't know. They're taking so much credit. They're taking too much credit. And when the squeeze comes, if they really do some of the things that they're promising with cutting Medicaid and other stuff as well, when that squeeze comes, there's not really going to be a scapegoat. They're going to try to call, wokeness and transgender Joe Biden, but it's not going to work when he hasn't been president for a couple years. It's not going to work very well at all. And they're already low-key trying that. He brought up Biden when they were talking earlier, but people are going to know who to blame when the squeeze really starts hurting, if it comes.
Indiana, all these places, Idaho, New Hampshire. There's so many places, the states. I figure 35 really run
There's
well.
so many places.
And right now, it's Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland.
Oh, he's making the point that Idaho, if you abolish the Department of Education, will compete in their education outcomes with Finland. That's what he's saying. I'm not even joking. Do not give Idaho control of their education. Chatter. I'm sorry to break it to you. They already have full control over their own education. That's actually already how it works. What's going to happen with the Department of Education is that these schools will be underfunded severely. Their arts and music programs will be underfunded. Their special ed programs will be underfunded. But they will still have control over their curriculum, the same that they always have. We had an entire debate when I was growing up in this country about whether or not to teach evolution, and some states do it and some states don't. Some states teach abstinence only. There's no federal requirements for education. There's no federal curriculum. There should be, and there are in countries like Finland, but that's not what the Department of Education really does. And then once the public schools start declining, they're going to say, well, it's just because public education is a failure. You got to homeschool, or you got to take in a private school and pay for it.
China, can you imagine, has top schools. We're last. So they have a list of 40 countries, We're number 40. Usually we're 38, 39. The last time we were number 40. And what I say is you got to give it back. So it doesn't work. I'll tell you what we're number one in, cost per pupil. We spend more money than any other country by far. It's not even close per pupil. Okay. So we know it doesn't work. So we spend the most and we have the worst, right? The worst result. When we give that back to Indiana, when we give that back to Iowa and back to a lot of the states.
Indiana will compete with China in their education system. That is what he's saying. We're going to give it back, meaning their own financing, not their fucking curriculum. They already decide their own curriculum. But somehow they're just going to fucking suddenly compete with China? It's so bad, dude. The argument is so nonsensical. I feel like he's doing it on purpose. Like, the states that he brings up specifically are so stupid. He's saying Iowa and Ohio and Indiana are going to compete with Finland and China. Like, no, you're not. You don't even believe that. Like, you have to be lying. It's crazy. Why the hell are they going to compete with China? He's saying that their educational outcomes are going to be comparable when he abolishes the Department of Education. Indiana and China. The only thing in the way between, the bottom of the world education statistics and the top?
Looks like shit.
The Department of Education. They're just in the way from freedom.
That run well. They run well. A lot of them, 35, 37, 38. Now, you're going to have 10 laggards, but you're going to have 5 real laggards. But that's going to be okay. Right. Take New York. You give it to Westchester County. You give it to Suffolk County.
Of course.
You give it to upstate New York.
Yeah, think about all the counties in New York. Give it to them. Give them the education, whatever that means. A few months ago, a school district in my area took money from the STEM program to buy cheerleaders' uniforms. I'm sure states and individual schools could handle their own financials. That's exactly what you're going to see as well. The arts are going to completely decline in schools because they're going to want to maintain their sports programs and shit like that. They're going to prioritize their funding very particularly. Sometimes I wonder if these people have ever gone to school. I mean, Trump went to private school. Like, he does not know what it's like to be publicly educated. Neither does Elon.
And you give it to Manhattan, but you give it to 4 or 5 subsections. Same thing in California.
Yeah, okay, man. Upstate New York and Manhattan are just completely different areas that are going to have completely different educational outcomes based on the income of the areas the schools are in. Like, you're just literally advocating for more inequality.
Los Angeles is going to be a problem, but you're going to give it to places that run well. We can change education. Now, school choice is important, but that will get taken care of automatically. We want to bring education back to the states. You will spend half the number, and I'm not even doing this. I'm not even doing this to save, but you will. It costs you much less money. You get a much better education. If you go to some of these states, you'll be the equivalent of Norway, Sweden.
He's saying it. He's literally saying it again. Back to the states. When did it leave? I mean, the lie is that states don't dictate their own curriculum when it's not true. They do. I mean, they just get funding from the federal government and he just wants to turn it off. Let the schools fund themselves. Schools will be run for profit so they can, make the most money.
Denmark, places that really have a good school system. You'll have those places will be the equivalent. And your overall numbers will get so much better.
Do you want standards?
The Department of Education is also responsible for measuring our education outcomes. So if he abolishes it, I don't know I think he's just going to say it's better and never measure it again.
Associated. The only thing I want to do from Washington, D.C. is make sure they're teaching English, reading, writing, math, and arithmetic.
Science?
Okay, a little science.
A little science. Not that much. No evolution. Does Elon believe in evolution? Rocket Man? Or is he too religious now? Is he in on the religion grift? Well, the state would be responsible for reporting their own results. They would never lie. Yeah, of course.
Might help. Sure. Computers.
You're not going to have much of a problem with that, but that's it.
So your task now, and I pray to God this is successful. I really do. I wish you Godspeed. Godspeed, John Glenn.
It's going to be, by the way. I really believe.
But there are legitimate areas.
Do well beside this. This is cutting. We're only talking about cutting. We're also going to make a lot of money. We're taking in so much.
What about
money.
His business? What if there is?
Who's going to make a lot of money? You? What do you mean we're going to make a lot of money? I feel like you just said something you shouldn't have said.
Then we won't let
contract he would otherwise
let
get.
Him do it. If he's got a conflict. I mean, look, he's in certain areas. I mean, I see this morning, I didn't know, but I said, do the right thing, where they're cutting way back on the electric vehicle subsidies.
Yes.
They're cutting back.
You're losing.
Not only cutting back.
Hurt you.
Correct.
Well, cutting back on the ones that go to other companies, not the ones that go to Elon. He got $400 million in armored Tesla contracts for the fucking police.
Yeah. Now,
You don't care.
I will tell you,
Well,
he's probably not that happy with it, but that would have been one thing he would have come to me and said, listen, you got to do me a favor. This is crazy. But this was in the tax bill. They're cutting back on the subsidies. I wasn't involved in it. I said, do what's right, and they're coming up with a tax, but it's just preliminary. But I mean, if he were involved, wouldn't you think he'd probably do that? Now, maybe he does better if you cut back on the subsidies. Who knows? Because he figures he does think differently. He thinks he has a.
The only reason Elon has to really like cut back on EV subsidies is plausible deniability. He's doing it while also giving himself $400 million in armored Tesla contracts for the police, and also giving himself billions of dollars in SpaceX subsidies. The fucking green energy credits are nothing to him now. He's evolved beyond the need for them. They're not even paying him enough compared to the kind of military contracts he's getting with SpaceX, undoubtedly.
Better product.
Yeah.
And as long as he has a level playing field, he doesn't care what you do, which
Exactly.
is very. He's told me that.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't asked the president for anything ever.
And
It's
if
true.
it comes up, how will you handle it?
Well,
He won't be involved.
yeah, I'll recuse myself if it is.
If there's a
conflict.
conflict, he won't be involved.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want that, and he won't want it.
Right, and also I'm getting a sort of a daily proctology exam here. You know, it's not like I'll be getting.
He already said this.
Right, and also I'm getting a sort of a daily proctology exam here. You know, it's not like I'll be
Trump thought that was funny.
getting away from something in the dead of night. You know?
Welcome to D.C. If you want a friend, get a dog.
Well, I do have a dog, but I also have friends.
Yeah.
I think those were two lies back to back. I don't think he has a dog or friends.
My dog loves me, poor little creature.
You know the truth with this
I need
guy?
to bring him to D.C.
He's. I know every businessman. I know the good ones, the bad ones, the smart ones, the lucky ones. I know them. This guy
He said the proctology joke before, yeah, like 3 days ago. It's really annoying he just repeats stuff like that, but Trump does too, so maybe he's picking up on it.
he's a brilliant guy. He's a great guy. He's got tremendous imagination and scientific imagination, far beyond. You know, you keep talking about a technologist and all, but you're much more than a technologist. You are that. But he's also a good person. He's a very good person, and he wants to see the country do well. And I know a lot of great business people,
Former close friend of Jeffrey Epstein said Elon Musk is a good person. That's weird.
really great business people, but you know, they're not really, in some cases, very good people. And I know people that would try and take advantage of the situation. This guy's somebody that really cares for the country, and I saw that.
What's really funny is like Elon loves to stick to the like pseudoscience of IQ, when I'm sure if he sat down to take an IQ test, he would inevitably get impatient and angry and indignant and then walk away and call the test stupid no matter what he got. He's a technologist. He knows better than the test. The test is stupid, the sign of a true genius.
That very early on. I saw it really a long time ago when I got to know him. He's a very different kind of a character. That's why, you know who loves him? Young people that are very smart.
Why did they cut it? That's how it ends? Okay, that's it. God, that sucked so bad.